The Essential Rumi, translation by Coleman Barks. Introduction. On Rumi. Persians and Afghanis called Rumi Jalaluddin Balki. He was born 30th September 1207 in Balk, Afghanistan, which was then part of the Persian Empire. The name Rumi means from Roman Anatolia. He was not known by that name, of course, until after his family, fleeing the threat of the invading Mughal armies, emigrated to Konya in Turkey, sometime between 1215 and 1220. His father, Bahauddin Walad, was a theologian and jurist, and a mystic of uncertain lineage. Bahauddin Walad's Marif, a collection of notes, diary-like remarks and sermons and strange accounts of visionary experiences, has shocked most of the conventional scholars who have tried to understand them. He shows a startlingly sensual freedom in stating his union with God. Rumi was instructed in his father's secret inner life by a former student of his father, Burhanuddin Mahuki. Burhan and Rumi also studied Sanai and Attar. At his father's death, Rumi took over the position of sheikh in the dervish learning community in Konya. His life seems to have been a fairly normal one for a religious scholar, teaching, meditating, helping the poor, until in the late fall of 1244, when he met a stranger who put a question to him. That stranger was the wandering dervish Shams of Tabriz, who had traveled throughout the Middle East, searching and praying for someone who could endure my company. A voice came, "What will you give in return?" "My head." "The one you seek is Jalaluddin of Konya." The question of Shams spoke made the learned professor faint to the ground. We cannot be entirely certain of the question, but according to the most reliable account, Shams asked who was greater, Muhammad or Bastami, for Bastami had said, "How great is my glory," whereas Muhammad had acknowledged in his prayer to God, "We do not know you as we should." Rumi heard the depth out of which the question came and fell to the ground. He was finally able to answer that Muhammad was greater, because Bastami had taken one gulp of the divine and stopped there, whereas for Muhammad, the way was always unfolding. There are various versions of this encounter, but whatever the facts, Shams and Rumi became inseparable. Their friendship is one of the mysteries. They spent months together without any human needs, transported into a region of pure conversation. This ecstatic connection caused difficulties in the religious community. Rumi's students felt neglected. Sensing the trouble, Shams disappeared as suddenly as he had appeared. Anne-Marie Schimmel, a scholar immersed for 40 years in the works of Rumi, thinks that it was at this first disappearance that Rumi began the transformation into a mystical artist. As she said, he turned into a poet, began to listen to music, and sang, whirling around hour after hour. Word came that Shams was in Damascus. Rumi sent his son, Sultan Valad, to Syria to bring his friend back to Konya. When Rumi and Shams met for the second time, they fell at each other's feet, so that no one knew who was lover and who the beloved. Shams stayed in Rumi's home and was married to a young girl who had been brought up in the family. Again, the long mystical conversation began, and again the jealousies grew. On the night of 5th December 1248, as Rumi and Shams were talking, Shams was called to the back door. He went out, never to be seen again. Most likely he was murdered with the connivance of Rumi's son, Aladdin, who so Shams indeed gave his head for the privilege of mystical friendship. The mystery of the friend's absence covered Rumi's world. He himself went out searching for Shams and journeyed again to Damascus. It was there that he realized, why should I seek? I am the same as he. His essence speaks through me. I have been looking for myself. The union became complete. There was full fana, annihilation in the friend. Shams was writing the poems Rumi called the huge collection of his odes and quatrains the works of Shams of Tabriz. After Shams' death and Rumi's merging with him, another companion was found, Saladin Zurkab, the goldsmith. Saladin became the friend to whom Rumi addressed his poems, not so fierily as to Shams, but with quiet tenderness. When Saladin died, Hussam Chalabi, Rumi's scribe and favorite student, assumed this role. Rumi claimed that Hussam was the source, the one who understood the vast secret order of the Mathnawi, that great work that shifts so fantastically from theory to folklore, to jokes, to ecstatic poetry. For the last 12 years of his life, Rumi dictated the 6 volumes of his masterwork to Hussam. Rumi died on 17th December, 1273.